session, we are having Yeshwanth LM, who is a solution engineer from Confluent, a pre-sale solutions engineer, Microsoft certified trainer, AWS community builder, and an active IT leader. With 30 plus tech talks, teaching 20... It's fine. Okay, he'll be giving the intro. Thank you so much.
Loud and clear? Okay. So let's do the same activity again. Can we all stand up? There's another reason for it. Can we all stand up? This time, let us clap for ourselves for being here on a Saturday, that to Saturday afternoon, right? So we instead choose to be with our family, enjoy our time. Although it's a Christmas time, we are all here. So let's have a huge round of applause for ourselves. Even more louder. Thank you, please. And there's a funnier side as well. So while coming from Bangalore, I promised my mom that I'll get a standing ovation. So this is captured now. I'll snip it and I'll share it with my mom. Just kidding. So like my designation goes, I work as a solutions engineer at Confluent. So this track was specially focused on data, AI, and generative AI, and things like that, right? So I focus more onto that when it comes to building POC to any of the customers. How many of you have used Confluent or Kafka before? You are? Okay. Kafka or Confluent? So when I say Confluent, right, so people generally think about Confluence. It is just like Jira, Atlassian product. It's Confluent. We are the best in the world data streaming platform, Apache Kafka. And it also offers Flink, which is a stream processing engine. Don't worry, I'm not here to talk about my organization, just to let you know how things work in the back end. Apart from that, I also run a YouTube channel where I talk about cloud, DevOps, AI, and data. So if you're interested, you can also check it out. Not promoting. I was with Databricks before. I worked there as a solutions engineer as well. So previously, I had work experience on at-rest data, now dealing with data in motion. So that's why you might see me asking more questions about data side of things. So another list added to me, which is the AWS User Group. Mysuru is just launched a week back. Just before preparing for this session, I got the notification from AWS team that we are ready to launch a new user group. So if you're around Karnataka and Mysore, just stop by. We can have a meetup there, and we can discuss more about AWS. And I'm an IEEE volunteer as well. How many of you know what's IEEE? Okay. All right, so how many of you have used VPC? That's a dumb question, right? All of us use VPC every day. So how many of you deal with VPC flow logs? How many of you know that we have a log for VPC? How many of you queried logs and understood what's inside the VPC log? No one. You? Okay. So the motivation for me to build this application was, I was building a POC with one of my customers. Usually when we build a POC, it's going to be multi-cloud architecture. So in that scenario, to figure out where exactly the traffic is being delayed, or where's the data loss, and things like that, if you want to tighten your network security, that's where this VPC flow logs comes into the play. So I was analyzing this. There was a hell lot of data. And to deal with that and to query that, it's a really challenging task. As a solutions engineer, you're here to build a solution rather than troubleshooting an issue. And that's where I thought, let's do something with the GenAI things. And that's where I built this tool just to help myself and all the other folks who work on cloud and DevOps. So that's where the challenges are. We have comprehensive visibility, which means VPC flow logs itself throws away a lot of information. If you have queried, most of the time we do not really understand what is that log all about, right? So we have a lot of information, source address, destination port, destination IP address, a lot of things. And it is verbose log as well, right? So to understand what's that protocol, what's that whether it's a TCP protocol, it's a UDP protocol, you will have to do a lot of analysis. And if you are an engineer like me who knows everything a little bit rather than deep knowledge on things, it becomes harder. And that's where you require specialized analysis. So you need a team who is good in querying the logs. It can be SQL or it can be a Python Spark code which you can run and get the logs. But by the time you figure out this, your problems or your solution that you're building is already on wait. It's on hold, and you're just still troubleshooting. Instead, what if you could go back to your GenAI and ask, what is the issue with this? Or you can even ask questions like, what are the security recommendations that you can give so that I can fix the issues? And you can also get more details, like what are the ports that are open, what are the security recommendations that if you want to tighten up the ports, you can do that as well. Let's see that in action. Usually, this is how the VPC flow logs looks like. Have you seen this before? Right. So you see accept, reject. You see 1433, 1776. What does that mean? So for an engineer like me, it is hard to decode it. And it's time-consuming as well. Sometimes I might be prone to error, and that's where I want extra team to work on it and a specialized person to query my flow logs and get the results. And sometimes, due to operational efficiency, I'll still be working on the same thing rather than building the solutions. So why do we require VPC flow logs? Security, to tighten the security of the network infrastructure. Then traffic monitoring. If you want to analyze, understand who is getting through your network in your VPC, what's happening with your ENIs, who is actually trying to attack your EC2 instances. All of those can be analyzed using this. And if you want to troubleshoot any issues, just like me, you can use this tool as well. And that's where this tool comes into play. It is integrated well with GenAI. You can ask questions in plain English, and it will give you the intelligent translation and also the recommendations too. So the key features of this is VPC validation. First, it will check whether that VPC exists or not. So one important note that I wanted to let you know is that I'm not a UI person, so I do not like things to be on UI, so I usually go by CLI. So this is a CLI tool which is written on Boto 3 and using the Bedrock module. And it first checks whether whatever the VPC that you're entering, it is valid or not, if it exists in your account or not. And then it will check if the VPC flow log is enabled or not. If it is enabled, where is it located? So for now, this tool will only work for CloudWatch logs. But it's open source. I mean, it's available on GitHub. I'll show the QR code as well. You can also contribute if you're interested. Let us make it for S3 and other destinations as well. So you can store your VPC logs in different locations, right? So this works currently only for CloudWatch logs, but you can enhance it further and make it available for S3 as a destination as well. And like I mentioned, you can ask questions based on the natural languages, and it will give you the specific answers. And oversimplified version of the architecture, this one. I've removed most of the things here so that we only concentrate on the main things. We have your VPC, and that's configured with VPC flow logs. Usually, people store it on S3 and CloudWatch. So then you will query using Athena, which is a querying engine. And then on top of that, you'll create a dashboard. It should be a live dashboard if it is working real time. Else, we are analyzing the data, which is of no sense if you do not make it real time. So an oversimplified version of the current architecture, which we are dealing with. So just removed the Athena and the dashboarding part. We have Bedrock. I've not mentioned any model here, but it's Anthropic Claude 3. It can be changed as well. I'll show the configurations as well. So you can ask questions like, is there any unusual activity from an unusual person or something like that. So how does the processing works in this architecture is, the question. And you might be wondering, like, we have a lot of logs, then how will you feed all of those logs into your Bedrock? Wouldn't be a high cost, right? So that might be the question. So that's where your Python comes into the play with pandas. So you'll format the data and you'll summarize and get the statistics out of all the logs. Let's say you have 200 records. You'll summarize that and you'll create a statistics out of it. For example, create a list of all the destination ports, create a list of all the source ports, source IPs, destination IPs, and summarize it together and send it to the agent or the Bedrock LLM. So this is how usually the formatting happens. If you see, this is what I've done, not usually. So the source IP address, the destination IP address, the TCP, accept or reject, and how many bytes of data was sent. That records will be gathered. And if you see the third point, you will summarize the statistics, the total records, unique IP addresses, bytes, packets, and detailed flow records will also be captured. And you will also instruct the model with the specific instructions. I'm going to show that as well. And then you will send all of these to your Bedrock so that it can help you with the analysis. So the system prompts will contain the time range, the summary statistics, and also it contains the actual flow log. Just in case if anything is left out and it requires, you can also send the actual flow log which is required, and the instructions to be followed. And the user message that we are going to send, right? What exactly is happening or what's the recommendation. And the token management is another issue. So that's where I'm limiting it to 150 flow logs for now. But you can take it to another level. You can enhance it further. And the maximum token that I'm allowing is 2,000 for now. And just because to make sure we are well within the tokens. And you can optimize further with your pandas just to make sure that you're only getting the right amount of data, compact it, and then format it. So with this scenario, there is no persistent data. Like you are storing the logs just like you were doing it before in the CloudWatch or in S3. There is no need of knowledge base. So just because we have knowledge base, I'm not putting this into knowledge base and creating a embedding and then query the embedding. No. So what is required, we only do that. And then no agents created, no storage. We are not dumping the same logs again in any other location. And it's completely stateless. So these are all the prerequisites. How many of you have created at least one AI product by now? At least one. It can be simple, complex, intermediate. At least one. How many of you? Okay, I see a few hands going up. Okay. So if not, go back today, clone the repository, you will have at least one agent working for you. So this is completely available for you. All the requirements are here. AWS CLI should be configured. I'm sure most of you would have done that already. Python 3.10, of course, that's the bread and butter. Then you have Bedrock access. I'm sure most of you would have access to your Amazon Bedrock. Enable flow logs and IAM permissions well within our range. Not an admin privilege, so you can get it easily with your developers. And clone the repo and install all of this. This is available in the requirement.txt. And how do you use this tool? Just run the analyzer, then enter the VPC ID. It will check if the VPC is correct. And you can also select the time range. How much data would you want to query? Like, for example, last 1 hour, last 6 hours, last 24 hours. You can set that as well. And then you can ask questions. I mean, depending on the time that you provide, the time range, the number of, the time it takes to query that using the Bedrock will also vary. And these are some of the example questions that I tried with. For example, what source IP addresses do we see? List all the destination IP addresses. Which IP port has the most traffic? That indicates something, right? So there is some processing going on there. Which connections are being rejected, which is very important for me to troubleshoot, and show me the suspicious activities. Are there any failed attempts or failed connections? Show me all the TCP connections and a lot of things. So instead of that, let's go with a demo. Can we play the video, please? So I've recorded and spoke about the steps as well, so you can listen to what he's speaking.
All right, so if you see here, this is my VPC. This is the default VPC. This is the VPC ID. And I've enabled the flow log as well. If you want to see that, just click on flow log. And the destination type for this demo, it's going to be CloudWatch logs. If you want to put it to S3 bucket, you can do that as well. But this code that I have written, which is available on GitHub, only works for CloudWatch logs for now. We can work together and improvise it for S3 as well, right? So the logs look like this. It's in the default log. If you see here, this is how the CloudWatch logs look like. And also make sure to have Amazon Bedrock access. So if you have this in place, go ahead and clone this repository and I'll see you there. I have cloned the repository to my local machine now. So if you see, this is the heart of this project, VPC flow log analyzer, and the rest of them are self-explanatory. So I'm not going to explain all of this in detail. I have requirement.txt where I have filled all the requirements, and this will help you if, let us say, your VPC is not enabled with the flow log. So this part of code will help you do that. That is set up flow logs.py. And these are like activating the environment variables and how you can contribute and how you can go ahead and config this, the project overview and the README file. So I'm not going to explain that. But coming back to VPC flow logs analyzer, so this is where the actual magic happens. So if you see here, I'm configuring the logging for Python here, and I have declared a class VPC flow log analyzer, and it's expecting region name. I've set it to US East 1 for that for now. So if you want to see that, here is where it is, right? And you can also, if you see the example env file, you can see I've given you the slots where you can add AWS region, AWS profile, and Bedrock model. So I'm using Anthropic, Claude 3, Sonnet. If you want to change it, you can do that as well. And flow log configuration, for example, the default log hours. So if you do not set how many hours of data you want to summarize, it is going to be 24 hours by default. You can play around and change that as well. Max log entries is 1000 for now, and if you want to change it, you can do that. And logging configuration, you can set it to info or debug or whatever it is, right? So now let me go back here, and here firstly it will check if the VPC exits. If VPC exits, then it is going to check if it has got VPC flow log enabled. Then it will go ahead and get the flow log data. So it is going to get the group name from the flow logs, and here the VPC flow log format will be in this format, right? So account ID, interface ID, source address, destination address, source port, destination port, protocol, packets by bytes, window start, windowed action, flow log status. So all those fields will be converted into a human readable format here, if you see that, and then it's going to format the flow logs and summarize it for the Bedrock. So it's going to limit the records to avoid the token limits for now, and it's going to create a more compact version of the format or the flow log, and then it's going to send that data. Like for example, it's going to map the protocol as well. One is ICMP, 6 TCP. Basically, it's going to convert the protocol, and then it's going to send that data into analyze flow log summary. So here is where it's going to summarize the data and send it to the Bedrock. So like we discussed in the presentation, it's going to summarize it. And if you see here, the format flow log data for Bedrock is this, and it is going to get the summary for the additional context. And this is my system prompt, right? So I'm saying you are an Amazon VPC flow log analyst with access to detailed VPC flow log. You can help me with the details. And this is the summary statistics that I'm sharing in the system prompt itself. Then here I'm actually sharing the actual flow log data, and here are the important instructions that I've defined. And while I send this, if let's say for whatever reason VPC flow log is not enabled, it's also going to give you the command, CLI command, which is required in order to run and enable VPC flow log, right? So let's put this into action and see if that's going to work. All right, so let us put this into action. So what I've done is I've created an EC2 instance and allowed all the inbound traffic and the outbound traffic. Now it is bound to attacks. So I intentionally did that to test how we can ask the questions and how we can improvise it. So I've left it running for about 10 minutes now. So let's go ahead and test it, right? So for testing this, you will have to run Python 3 VPC and flow log analyzer. So once you have that, it is going to ask you for the VPC ID. So let me copy that
VPC ID. And firstly, it is going to check if the VPC exists. It exists. If then it is going to check if the flow log is enabled. It is enabled. Now it is asking how many hours of flow log data would you like to analyze. So for example, if you just type in 1, it's going to check for the last 1 hour. If you go with 6, it's going to take last 6 hours. If it is 24, it's going to take for last 1 day. Right? For now, let me go with 1 and I'll hit enter. It is going to retrieve flow log data for the last 1 hour. Right? So if you see here, based on that 1 hour result, it has got the summary as well. Flow log summary, total records is 246, unique source IPs, unique destination IPs, total bytes and total packets sent. It is just for 10 minutes, although I'm setting it to 1 hour because I enabled before 1 hour and I'm testing it with the EC2 instance, which is running for about 10 minutes now. So it is also giving you what you can ask and what can it help you with. So if you see what are the top source IP addresses, show me rejected connections, what are the protocols being most used, and so on and so forth. Right? So you can ask your question here. For example, let us go ahead and ask what source IP addresses do you see. It is going to analyze based on the summary and the records, and it is going to give us the details right in the terminal itself. So let's wait for a moment. All right, so if you see here, it says based on the VPC flow log data provided, here are the unique source IP addresses that I see. All right, so these many IP addresses are there. And if there is a suspicious activity, you can ask that as well. Now let us go ahead and ask, list all the destination IP addresses, and it is analyzing. All right, so you can see all the destination IP addresses being listed here. And let us, ask more questions. Now let me ask what destination ports are being accessed, right? So let me hit enter, and it's going to analyze, and let's see what is the result. Right. So if you see here, based on the VPC flow logs record, it is activating, or these are the destination ports that are being accessed. Like I mentioned, I've allowed all the traffic on that particular EC2 instance, and that might be the reason why we see all of these. Now let's go ahead and ask some more questions. Let me ask which connections are being rejected, right? So let's see if there is anything that is being rejected. Like I mentioned, there is no explicit deny. So if you see here, it says from the VPC flow log data, I do not see any connections that are being rejected. So all of them shows accept. You can cross-verify this in the VPC flow logs as well. So just to let you know. Now let us ask another question, which is show me suspicious activities. Let's go ahead and see what are suspicious activities on this EC2 instance, or rather the VPC flow log. All right, so here it says inbound traffic from unusual sources. It says records 120, 136, 137. Show ICMP traffic from this IP address, which is an IP address in India. This could be probing or any suspicious activity. And it says potential brute force or unauthorized access, right? So this is good. And scanning and other activities, unusual data volumes, access from Tor anomaly network. All right, so these are some of the questions that you can ask, and here it is giving you the records as well, where exactly it is finding that data and what might be the suspicious act. You can also ask, for example, what are some of the recommendations for me to secure this network? All right, let's see what it is going to say. All right, so here's the recommendation. It says restrict inbound traffic. There are many inbound connections from various IP sources, different ports, protocols. Review and strict, go ahead with a strict inbound access to only trusted IPs. And it says investigate suspicious traffic, enable egress filtering, review time services, right? Monitor encrypted traffic. And it is also asking you to implement network segmentation, deploy security monitoring, and so on and so forth, right? So these are some of the recommendations that it is giving for this moment, but you can enhance it further with the system prompt, which you are going to provide to the Bedrock LLM model. So this is what I had for the demonstration. So over to you, Yeshwanth, for the next step. All right.
All right. Can we go back? All right. So the explanation is also available on YouTube, so you can check that. Okay, so now the question is, why did you go with direct invocation rather than using Bedrock agents? Just because we have it, we had the session on Bedrock agents and how people are using it. So this is the exact reason. I am sure, like you already know, we discussed it. But if you want to take a snap of it, just do it. But I'm not gonna, go in depth about this. And we also need to consider about the cost consideration, and that might be the reason why I chose to use the direct invocation rather than using with the agent. And this is the GitHub repo if you want to contribute to this project. Like I mentioned, this works only for CloudWatch now. If you want to contribute to other destinations, just create a pull request and I'll be able to merge it. Right, shall we move further? All done? Okay. Or you can also type in that URL if you find it hard to. Okay, so the future is always conversational, just like we had for this one. And we have been doing this since a long back, right? So how many of us analyze cricket matches really well, right? So Kohli, most of the times when the ball goes out of the off stump, when he goes and pulls the cover drive, for Anderson specifically, he caught behind from the keeper. How did we get that? Someone analyzed it thoroughly, that this is his mistake. He's doing this since a long time, and he need to correct it. So that's how we can implement and also make use of these agents or the AI to help us along the way. So this is my LinkedIn profile, and just think about this. Wherever you have these logs, right? For example, most of the organizations will be dealing with audit logs, where you want to understand what happened, who accessed our data, at what time, was it authorized or unauthorized. So you can use these tools, provided those data is not PII, and it can be used by all of us, right? So there you can fit in this. Rather than writing a query, you can ask the agents to do the work for you. So that's the cricket analysis example. And you as a developer, you can implement these like we discussed. There are few more logs in AWS where you can implement this as well, like the guardrail logs, the audit logs. There you can use this and probably just build a similar one for other logs, and you can help your organization. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope it was helpful. I did not bore you much. Thank you so much.